Hello, everybody. I'm just feeling moved to do a video today. I am feeling the energies of this approaching new moon eclipse. Today, which will be in Scorpio, and having so much Scorpio myself, it's already eclipsing me. Ended up, just in a deep dive of grief the last 24 hours. But necessary. It's like every time we go to the bottom of the well, the pit, that's where we find the gold. Yeah, my name means goddess of gold, which is not about material wealth. It's about consciousness. It's about understanding. And so hence I midwife people through descent journeys to help people to find that gold. And I was at a party on the weekend, and it struck me afterwards when I look back on it. I went, that's an interesting dynamic what occurred. I was dressed up and, had male attention, and one after another, I found that I was holding space for men. Yeah, sitting compassionately, listening to them. And one after another, they talked at me, okay, like a child would their mother. And a number of men broke down in tears. Now, these were beautiful men, men who you would think are connected with their inner feminine because they were sharing their vulnerabilities, and they are. But I recognize when people don't have a regular practice of sitting in circle. And the way I recognize that is when they do have somebody that is holding space for them, compassionately listening in a place of non-judgment, they can't stop talking because there's a backlog of unprocessed experiences. Yeah. And for us to be present emotionally and psychologically and available to our partners, our friends, our children, to ourselves emotionally and psychologically, we need a regular, safe space to process our psychological and emotional experiences. And so, it's an irony that here I am at the moment with registrations open for a men's course where I turn up in a professional capacity to midwife men through a descent journey. But without men consciously seeking the grail, seeking understanding through the mentoring of the sacred feminine, the wisdom of the cycles, they unconsciously end up expecting women to mother them emotionally and psychologically by, not inquiring any questions of us, not having it as reciprocity. It wasn't a two-way conversation. It was me just listening to them, So this role often falls to women in relationship. And if a woman is mothering a man emotionally and psychologically, that kills the sex drive, because let's face it, you don't want to have sex with your son. So, if men are to feel empowered in their own right and not go into this codependent pattern of unconsciously expecting women to mother them and then retracting in resentment and, punishing women because they feel so dependent on them, the way that they take their power back is to push women away. Or then there's the men that fear commitment because they fear that they'll end up in a situation where, they feel dependent like they were as a young boy, and, fearing that a woman is going to dominate them. So, there's so many reasons for men to consciously seek out a descent journey. So what the hell is that? Well, you know, as I do this video, the moon is waning down to her lowest ebb, and it's going to be in Scorpio, this next new moon. And that's going to take us very deep, particularly because it's a partial eclipse. And so this is a time to turn inwards, all right? It's a time for deep introspection and for learning and seeing our own shadow, the ways that we limit ourselves and sabotage our own happiness. If we're willing to really go there and be really honest, really truthful with ourselves. And that's what, you know, the gift of the feminine is, the grail. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, which means being willing to look at ourselves, both the light and the shadow, so we can see ourselves in a balanced way. And that's the lesson of the sun currently in Libra, so that we can be available to partnership, which is what Libra you know, teaches us how to prepare for partnership. And in the ancient world, the way men and women would prepare for partnership was to go to the temples and the mystery schools and do a descent journey. And these were inspired by the myths of the descent of Ishtar, who was the name for Venus back in the Middle Eastern tradition, or the descent of Orpheus for men. And in both of these journeys, it's often catalyzed by a relationship breakup or something catastrophic happening where we're plunged into grief. We go to the bottom of the well, the underworld. And in the myth of Orpheus, which is the masculine descent journey, he is warned not to look back, not to reach for his past partner, Eurydice, because if he's lost in nostalgia, yearning for the past, what could have been, he's missing the opportunity to find the bride within, the divine complement, the beloved within, so that he is whole and mature enough emotionally and psychologically to embrace a good thing when it's in front of him, i.e. the cup of love that's offered by the feminine, the embodiment of the living grail. So, you know, he's in the underworld, and what he does in the underworld, he has to navigate the darkness, the labyrinth within, and meet his dark side, the ways that he has sabotaged his own happiness so that he's not seeing himself as a victim of circumstance and wanting a good fate to befall upon him, because fate is what we make it. We're all governed by the law of cause and effect. So if we're not having what we would call an enjoyable harvest, we need to look to ourselves rather than rail against God or our parents or the ex-partner or whoever. So in the descent of Orpheus, I take men through this journey so that we remember the masculine, okay? We empower the virility and the true inner power of the masculine by looking at the 7 faces that together comprise the masculine half of our psyche. These are the 7 faces of the God within that govern the 7 major energy centers or chakras. And so in meeting these inner aspects, he learns to identify the behaviors that he's been doing which aren't helpful, as well as how to empower the strengths and to change the story so that he can enjoy success on every level, and then be ready to connect on every level with his opposite, with his beloved, and enter into union. You know, we can't have union out there if we don't have union within, if these different aspects of ourselves are not integrated into a working, cohesive whole. So the man that doesn't look back, that seizes the day, carpe diem, that looks at the opportunity in the present moment, which is, okay, I'm single, instead of seeking another half to feel whole, another codependent relationship, I'm going to take that descent journey to become whole. And, you know, I was heartened this morning to read the men that are signing up for my program. They state their intention, and this beautiful man in Slovenia stated his was to become a better man. And it touched my soul deeply that, you know, while I can cry tears over the men that aren't willing to step beyond the carefully constructed persona that keeps them safe, but also keeps them imprisoned in the cold, in loneliness, in not being able to share and enjoy union. Here is a man that is saying, yes, I'm willing to drop the social mask. I'm willing to lay myself bare for love. And I suspect he may be there because his partner has inspired him through her descent journey to become a better woman, to become whole, so that together they don't sabotage their connection and their attraction and their love for one another. So if this speaks to your soul, what I'm saying, there's only a strictly limited amount of time to sign up for this course, because we journey this course during the sun moving through Ophiuchus, the sign of the awakened man, constellation, I should say, not the sign. So, you know, this is a power window for men to awaken the meridian of the sacred masculine, the energy of Shiva, the god who will die again and again and again. In other words, he will have an ego death. He will see at each of the 7 gates where he has been his own worst enemy, and in doing that, awaken the God within. So if life has turned to shit, it's time to make lemonade from lemons. And we do that by being humble, by bowing our ego and doing the inner work. So I'll put a link in the description. And if you feel to share this video, I'd be very grateful to help get the word out and to reach the men that are ready for this program. And I support the men through it with 7 weekly live coaching calls, online circles, where I offer personal coaching for each man, as well as online resources. So there's a mixture of both online and, you know, in person. It's just done through video call on Zoom. So thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. Ciao for now.